What's up, everybody? JT Dangerously once again. I am back for my Week 6 college football predictions. Now, Week 5 is in the books, and now we're into Week 6 of the college football season. Now, our record finishing up Week 5 was 8-2. So, our overall record coming into these Week 6 college football predictions is 38-12. So, we're coming in definitely hot. We're on a 5-week winning streak, and hopefully in this video we will make it 6 weeks. Now, before I begin, I do want to thank you guys so very much for watching last week's college football predictions. We had over 600 plus views on that video. You guys super kicked that like button 8 times, and we had over 50 comments. So again, thank you guys so very much for watching last week's college football predictions. Now, if you have not checked out my other 3 videos that I put up today, this is the 4th video out of 5. Definitely go check them out, and of course watch. Hope you guys can get to watch all 5 of the videos that I put up today. Now, we are at 200 plus subscribers on the channel, so I do want to thank you guys so very much for supporting the channel as always. To new subscribers, thank you guys for super kicking that subscribe button, and welcome to the Dangerous Lines. It's great to have you guys here. And to my longtime subscribers, thank you guys for sticking around and as always, killing it. Now, this is your first time watching my channel as a first time viewer, and this is your first video. Welcome to the Dangerous Lines. I am JT Dangerously, and welcome to the club, because this club is just to... Whoop, whoop. Again, thank you guys so very much. Now, other than that, let's get right into these Week 6 college football predictions. Now, I'm going to start off in the SEC, and it's a big-time rivalry game between the number 5, 5th-ranked Georgia Bulldogs heading to Nashville to face the Vanderbilt Commodores. Now, this is the 78th meeting between Vandy and Georgia, with Georgia leading the series 55-20-2. Now, Vandy won the last meeting last year, and Georgia's looking to win this series for the first time since 2015. Now, starting off with Georgia, Georgia looked so good against Tennessee last week. They blew them out, shut them down in Knoxville. Nick Chubb had a great game. Nick from State Farm had a great game. And this team, definitely in the SEC East, is the team to beat. No offense to Florida, no offense to Tennessee, no offense to South Carolina, Missouri, Kentucky, or Vanderbilt, but Georgia is the team to beat in the SEC East, coming from me. Then on the other side, you have the Vanderbilt Commodores are coming off another loss to an SEC team. They lost to Florida last week. They got blown out by Alabama the week after. So they're coming into this game with a double hangover, and they're looking to upset a top 5 team. So coming from me in this first SEC rivalry matchup, I'm going to take the number 5 ranked Georgia Bulldogs to defeat the Vanderbilt Commodores. And now the next matchup, another SEC rivalry battle featuring the LSU Tigers heading to the Swamp to face the 21st ranked Florida Gators. Now, this is the 64th meeting between the LSU Tigers and the Florida Gators, with Florida leading the all-time series 32-28-3. The Gators are coming off won the last series between these two teams in 2016, and LSU is looking to win for the first time since 2015. Now, the LSU Tigers are coming off maybe the most embarrassing loss this last week by losing to the Troy Trojans, a Sun Belt team, at home. So losing that game was such an embarrassing loss to LSU. Ed Orgeron's going to have a really rough year this year at LSU. And then on the other side, the Florida Gators are coming off a big win against Vanderbilt. But they did also lose their quarterback, Luke Del Rio. Jack Del Rio's son broke his collarbone in that game against Vanderbilt, so he's done for the season. So they're going with their second backup, Franks, I think his last name is. But Florida has been pretty good, especially at home at Gainesville. They look just ridiculously good. So coming from me in this matchup, again, I picked Florida last week. You know what? I'm going to pick them this week. I'm going to take the number 21th ranked Florida Gators to defeat the LSU Tigers. Chomp, chomp. And now the next matchup, a Big Ten battle between the Minnesota Golden Gophers heading to Purdue to face the Purdue Boilermakers. Now, the Minnesota Golden Gophers are coming off a tough loss to Maryland on Saturday by, I think, a touchdown. So, again, it was a great game, but they just fell a little bit short. So they're looking to get back on track in the Big Ten Conference. Then on the other side, you have the Purdue Boilermakers who are coming in 2-2. So they're looking to get back on track or go behind. So coming from me in this Big Ten battle, I'm going to go with the Minnesota Golden Gophers to defeat the Purdue Boilermakers. And now the next matchup, a Big 12 battle featuring, of course, the crew's going to be there at College Game Day. It is the number 23 ranked West Virginia Mountaineers heading to Fort Worth to face the number 8 ranked TCU Horned Frogs. Now, starting off with the West Virginia Mountaineers coming in ranked 23rd, they're 3-1. The one thing I know about West Virginia is a few years ago, they had a great quarterback named Clint Trickett, who's, of course, if you watched Last Chance U, he was the quarterback coach for Scuba Community College. Now, that was the last time I remember West Virginia being good. I mean, they had Kevin White there, and a few years ago, before the college football playoff, they were almost a near BCS Cinderella. So that's the only thing I know about the West Virginia Mountaineers in the Big 12. Then on the other side of the TCU Horned Frogs, for the last time we saw them spank the Oklahoma State Cowboys, Kenny the Trill Hill got it done. This team is definitely a team to look out for in the Big 12 Conference. So coming from me in this Big 12 rivalry matchup, I gotta go with the number 8th ranked TCU Horned Frogs to defeat the West Virginia Mountaineers. And now the next matchup, one match I was waiting to get. This is an ACC battle between the number 13th ranked Miami Hurricanes heading to Tallahassee to face the Florida State Seminoles. Now, this is the 61st meeting between the Florida State Seminoles and the Miami Hurricanes, with Miami leading the all-time series 31-30. Now, Florida State has won the last 7 meetings against Miami, and Miami's looking to win for the first time in this series since 2009. Now, when you talk about Miami, Florida, you talk about some of the great 90s teams these two teams were, with coaches like Bobby Bowden, Dennis Erickson, Larry Coker, Butch Davis. I mean, the array of talent on both teams. You had Ron Simmons, you had Dwayne Johnson, you had Michael Irvin, you had Greg Olson, you had Ken Dorsey. You had so many great talents on both squads, and this is one of my all-time favorite rivalries in the ACC, and I'm happy they got this game. This game was supposed to happen, I think, in the week 1 or week 2, but they moved it because of Hurricane Irma. So I'm happy we're getting this game, because this is definitely the Battle of Florida. And we're starting off with the Miami Hurricanes coming off a big win against Duke on Friday. They look good. They look really good. And with their coach, Mark Richt, if you remember him at Georgia, he did some really good stuff at Georgia. Now he's doing even better stuff at Miami, and they have the turnover chain, that defense looking good, and it's saying a lot about the Miami Hurricanes this season. Then you have the Florida State Seminoles, who are coming off a very gritty win against the Wake Forest Demon Deacons. Again, ever since week 1 against Alabama, Florida State has not been the same team. I mean, they're going in from having maybe the best quarterback in the game in Francois, now having no Francois for the whole season, and having a rookie quarterback the team, and their offensive line is terrible. They're really in trouble this season, and it does not look like they're going to win the ACC for sure. And Jimbo Fisher's having a really rough time with this team. So coming from me in this ACC battle, I'm going to take the number 13th ranked Miami Hurricanes to defeat the Florida State Seminoles. And now the next matchup. It is the Kansas State Wildcats heading to Austin to face the Texas Longhorns. Now, Kansas State is coming in 3-1 in the Big 12. They're looking to continue their roll. They've only lost 1 game. And when you have teams like this in the Big 12 conference, like Oklahoma and Oklahoma State and West Virginia and Texas Tech, it's a dog-eat-dog world. And Kansas State Wildcats are trying to stay in that race. Then on the other side, the Texas Longhorns are coming off a 2-2 record. They're coming in pretty solid. I can't say anything bad about Texas other than they're not my favorite team, being when it comes to Oklahoma, it's all about Oklahoma and Texas in a few weeks of the Red River rivalry. So coming from me in this matchup, I'm going to go with the upset here. I'm going to take, and I usually don't do this, I'm going to take the Texas Longhorns to defeat the Kansas State Wildcats. And now the next matchup. It is the battle for the Paul Bunyan Trophy in the Big Ten Conference. It is the Michigan State Spartans heading to the Big House to face the Michigan Wolverines. Now, this is the 110th meeting between Sparty and Michigan, with Michigan leading the all-time series 69-35-5. Now, Michigan won last year's meeting, and Sparty is looking to win in this series for the first time since 2015. Now, Sparty's coming off a big win against Iowa after Iowa's heartbreaking loss to Penn State, and Sparty's looking really good, especially in the Big Ten Eastern Conference. So Another competition for Ohio State, for Penn State, and for Michigan. And then on the other side, the number 7th ranked Michigan Wolverines are coming off a bye after another big time win a few weeks ago. They're coming in 4-0. They look good. They're maybe the top front runners to maybe knock off Ohio State maybe this year, and maybe knock off Penn State. So coming from me in the battle for the Paul Bunyan Trophy, man, this one's really tough. I'm going to take the number 7th ranked Michigan Wolverines to defeat the Michigan State Spartans. And now the next matchup, another rivalry matchup, and it is for the Freedom Trophy. It is the number 9th ranked Wisconsin Badgers heading to Nebraska to face the Nebraska Cornhuskers. Now, this is only the 12th meeting between Wisconsin and Nebraska, with the Badgers leading the series 7-4. Now, Wisconsin has won the last 4 meetings against Nebraska in this rivalry, and Nebraska is looking to win for the first time since 2012. So, starting off with the number 9th ranked Badgers, they are looking good in the Big Ten West Division. Again, they are still my front runners to win the Big Ten West, coming from me. Offense is fantastic. Defense has always been good. And this team, I don't see any competition in the Big Ten West Division for Wisconsin. Then on the other side, you have the Nebraska Cornhuskers in the same division with Wisconsin. And this team is a very different team from years past. I mean, they're coming in 3-2. Losses to Northern Illinois, losing to Oregon, just not looking like the team that they used to be in the 80s and the 90s and the 2000s. And I kind of think Nebraska realizes those days of them being good are over. Now they're just a team that's just trying to continue to be a winning record and go into a very somewhat mediocre bowl game. So coming from me in the battle for the Freedom Trophy, I am going to take the number 9th ranked Wisconsin Badgers to defeat the Nebraska Cornhuskers. And now the next matchup, a Pac-12 matchup featuring the number 11 ranked Washington State Cougars heading to Oregon to face the Oregon Ducks. Now the Washington State Cougars are coming off maybe their biggest game on Friday, defeating USC in their home field. They got it done. Maybe the biggest upset of week 5 last week. They looked good. Falk had a great game for Washington State. Mike Leach is doing some crazy stuff at Washington State. And being in the same division with Washington, Stanford, Oregon State, and Oregon, they're always going to be that team to look out for in the Pac-12 North. Then on the other side, the Oregon Ducks are coming off a big win against Cal at home. They're looking to continue their winning streak in the Pac-12 North. So coming from me in this Pac-12 battle, man, this one's really tough. I'm going to take the number 11th ranked Washington State Cougars to win. I think they are really the lookout team this year in the Pac-12. Still going to take Washington to win that Pac-12 North, but look out for the Washington State Cougars. So coming from me in this matchup, I'm taking the number 11th ranked Washington State Cougars to defeat the Oregon Ducks. And now the final matchup of Week 6. It is another Pac-12 battle. It is the Stanford Cardinals heading to Utah to face the Utah Utes. Now the Stanford Cardinals are coming in 3-2. Very not the same team that they were a few years ago with Kevin Sumlin and Andrew Luck and Kevin Hogan. Very different team without Christian McCaffrey. This team is a very different team this year. And again, they're going to be lucky to even be in this race in the Pac-12 North, coming from me with Washington and Washington State and Oregon State. Stanford is definitely the team to not don't be surprised they'll win at least maybe 6 games. Then on the other side, you have the Utah Utes are coming in 4-0, undefeated. Of course, being from the Pac-12 South with USC, Arizona State, Colorado, UCLA. They're maybe the front runners to maybe win the Pac-12 South other than USC. But USC, after losing to Washington State, Sam Darnold being out of that Heisman race, Utah could be that team to look out for. Of course, the only thing I know about the Utah Utes is that Alex Smith played at Utah and got him to that undefeated season in 2004. So coming from me in the final matchup of Week 6, I'm going to take the Utah Utes to defeat the Stanford Cardinals. And those are my Week 6 college football predictions. Now, I hope you guys did enjoy my college football predictions this week. Comment below who do you have winning all of these matchups this week. Again, represent your teams in the comment section below as always. And if you want to put your picks up on the comment section, be my guest. Let's have a conversation about your picks. Of course, I'm always on to see your comment, like it, and of course, reply right back to you because comments are absolutely always welcome on this channel. Now, of course, I do want to thank you guys so very much for watching this college football predictions. I know this was a pretty short one. So, again, hope that's fine with you guys. Now, before you go, you can never forget to do this. Dramatic pause. Dramatic pause. Few technical difficulties, I'll just do the super kick. Oh no! That like button, comment, share with your friends, of course. Super kick! That like button like only you guys can. And of course, you can never forget to do super kick! Oh no! That subscribe button, become part of this bigger and dangerous Alliance. And I will see you guys later tonight for my Week 5 NFL predictions. Later days and peace!